Good morning, I'm Angelo Castro III.
I'm Angela, and we are the Castros.
We bring you the news.
And the views that make you think.
Sometimes we agree.
Sometimes we don't.
This is News and Views.
And here are today's headlines.
Vice President Sara Duterte has filed a petition to halt the impeachment proceedings against her. VP Sara says the complaint is a clear act of desperation.
The Philippines is set to file a diplomatic protest against China. This comes after the recent harassment in the West Philippine Sea.
PhilHealth announced the increase of health package for dengue patients. Magkano naman kaya yan?
And church officials call on the public to pray for Pope Francis. This is after Vatican's announcement that the Pope developed pneumonia.
Some House lawmakers slammed the petition filed by Vice President Sara Duterte before the Supreme Court to stop her impending impeachment trial. Here's the report.
Vice President Sara Duterte filed a petition for temporary restraining order and writ of preliminary injunction to halt her impeachment trial at the Senate before it even begins. This is on top of a similar petition filed by a group of Mindanao lawyers, also challenging the constitutionality of the impeachment process. Duterte invoked the rule, stating that only one ouster complaint can be filed against an impeachable official within a year. She said that's not what happened between December 2 and February 5, when 4 impeachment complaints were filed, 3 of which the lower chamber failed to act on. Her counsel, Attorney Sheila Sison of Fortuna Nervasa, said they will exhaust all legal remedies available to them.
Normal naman na ganun yung magiging reaction nila. Pero sa totoo lang, I don't think, hindi ko makita kung saan galing yung desperasyon kung pinag-aralan yung argumento.
The Vice President's team believes that the manner of filing the complaint was defective.
Even as the House has the exclusive power to initiate all cases of impeachment, hindi po yon absolute. Malinaw na sinabi ng Korte Suprema na itong power na ito, itong kapangyarihan na ito, ay subject sa parameters or constitutionally imposed standards such as the manner of filing, the number of votes required, and the one-year constitutional bar. Bago mag-proceed, ang palagay ko dapat munang i-resolve yung question ng petition.
In her petition, Duterte listed as one her legal counsels, her father, former President Rodrigo Duterte. That makes it 3 petitions pending before the Supreme Court related to the impeachment. Some House lawmakers criticized the petition filed by Vice President Duterte. According to House Senior Deputy Speaker Aurelio Gonzalez, it seems the Vice President is desperate to escape accountability. House Deputy Speaker J.J. Suarez argued that if the Vice President is truly innocent, she should face the allegations instead of avoiding the process and turning to the Supreme Court. For Batangas 2nd District Representative Jinky Luistro, who will serve as one of the impeachment prosecutors, there is no legal basis to stop the impeachment trial. She also said that the House did not rush the 4th impeachment complaint submitted to the Senate.
Yung verification po na kanilang question, it was followed word for word as written in the rules. So, it is our humble opinion na there's nothing wrong with the verification.
Meanwhile, former Senate President Franklin Drilon said the Supreme Court should not interfere with the impeachment process.
The basic rule is found in the Constitution. The impeachment court shall decide all impeachment cases. To me, the better attitude that the Supreme Court can follow is not to interfere. Let this be treated as a political question and therefore leave it to the judgment of the Senate asking or acting as an impeachment court to decide on this, including questions of jurisdiction.
Yun, on one side of the fence, sinasabi nila na, well, naging immune na dapat si VP Sara because the first 3 complaints when were received by the House Secretary General, ano na yun, considered na nakafile yun. But on the other side of the argument, teka lang, considered file at magiging immune ka lang pag tinakal ng Committee on Justice ito at sinabi ng Committee on
Nabigay,
Justice...
actually, nabigay muna sa, sa speaker. Tapos dinala sa Committee
yes,
on
correct.
Justice.
And it has to go to the Committee on Justice. And the Committee on Justice, just like yung mga ibang complaint ni former President Gloria Macapagal-Arroyo, has to say this is not sufficient in form and this is not sufficient in substance. Therefore, we will rescind or we will not elevate or recommend the
Yes.
hindi wala namang ganun eh. Wala namang ganun na nangyari. So therefore, the fourth complaint, hindi pa siya technically, wala pang binasura.
Well, as expected naman they will exhaust any legal remedy, diba, dito sa kanilang kaso. And we will see what will happen. Kasi yun nga sinasabi nga dito, legal experts gathered at a forum in UP's BGC campus to tackle questions or key questions on the impeachment of Vice President Sara Duterte. Now, we have Mobile Journal Amy Atienza with the report.
The University of the Philippines College of Law and the Justice George Malcolm Memorial Foundation held a forum on emerging issues in impeachment at UP's BGC campus on Wednesday. In front of a packed auditorium, some of the country's biggest legal names debated the questions swirling over the impeachment of Vice President Sara Duterte. For instance, can a special session be called in order for Senate to convene as a trial court?
Can the President call a special session? Yes, the power of the President to call a special session is not limited by anything.
Traditionally, yes. On recess, cannot be, unless the President calls for a special session. But this is a novel addition in the Constitution. And in the light of the intention of the framers of the Constitution, na walang patumpik-tumpik, umpisan ka agad. Because it's a time compelling, significant activity in our country. Accountability, checking abuse of powers, etc., etc. Then, to me, I would say that regardless of the recess, time impeachment trial should begin in the light of this constitutional provision.
The last time a Philippine president initiated a special session was when former President Rodrigo Duterte called Congress to deliberate the 2021 national budget. Another question was, if the impeached officer resigns before conviction, does the trial get terminated and will consequences apply?
Carrying out the trial despite resignation of an impeached public official just to determine the disqualification is consistent with the purpose of impeachment, to ensure accountability, because otherwise mootness will just simply sweep that down the road, right? It will just remove every attempt to make a public official accountable.
There were also questions around the standard of evidence required for a conviction and whether there needs to be proof beyond reasonable doubt, just like in a regular court.
I think the standard, and I wouldn't say standard of evidence, the standard, I think, from which any evidence is appreciated by the senators should be, what would I, as a senator, need to be convinced of to remove this elected official from office and bar this official from ever being able to assume office.
Finally, the panelists weighed in on whether the Supreme Court can and should decide on the petitions to nullify the impeachment complaint.
The Supreme Court can take jurisdiction in actual cases, actual controversy that involves the rights, demandable rights of people, and when there is abuse of or grave abuse of discretion. So
let this be treated as a political question and therefore leave it to the judgment of the Senate asking or acting as an impeachment court to decide on this, including questions of jurisdiction. So it's best that the Supreme Court does not interfere.
San Juan Lone District Representative Isabel Zamora, who is a member of the House Prosecution Panel, and counsel for Vice President Duterte, Attorney Sheila Sison, came face-to-face at the UP Law Forum. Both said they were in the thick of preparations for trial, though didn't reveal too much about their strategies. Attorney Sheila Sison of Fortune, Narvasa and Salazar, the law firm advising Vice President Duterte, did leave a dire warning in her opening remarks.
Removal by conviction on impeachment is a stunning penalty. The ruin of a life. Even more important, it unseats a person whom the people have deliberately chosen for that office.
Mobile journalist Amy Achanza, we are One News.
Parang ang sarap manood lang doon at makinig ka at you learn the ropes,
Saka walang
doon
pikunan
sa
kahit magkasalungat sila ng
legal
opinion, di ba?
issues,
They're very respectful. On hindsight kasi, ang dalawang sides dyan kay Conchita Carpio Morales, pwede daw pumasok ang Supreme Court provided na may issues regarding yung demandable rights mo as an individual and infringe upon by any institution.
Parang grave discretion.
Well, that
abuse,
that simply means, kunyari ako, di ba, I have a certain rights as a citizen of the Philippines that's guaranteed in the Constitution, right to free speech, right to air my grievances, di ba, right to access to things like that. Kunyari, ang nangyayari sinasabi nila, if any of my rights is infringed upon or na-suppress, then
pwede akong pumunta sa Supreme Court. Supreme Court will
pero
decide.
technically, sa impeachment ito na pinagbotohan ng congressman ng 200, they just voted merely to impeach and to transmit to the Senate. So wala naman technically, sabi ng isang side ng argument ni Ronald, process to Wala naman technically
This is mere political.
this is the transmittal and the votes of the congressman is a political exercise. Ngayon, sinasabi mo na infringing rights, hindi pa because the trial has not commenced.
Yes.
Para malaman natin kung na-infringing rights mo and the way it's handled, let's go to the the trial.
Pero kasi 'di ba even si Atty. Torion na nakausap natin dito yesterday, ang dinidiin nila kasi dapat daw binigyan ng pagkakataon na makapag-comment si Vice President Sara Duterte doon sa impeachment. Binigyan siya ng 10 days to comment. Pero kasi, doon sa mga nakausap natin na tungkol dito ng mga legal experts, yung mga senators, mga former Senate President, sinasabi nila, yung argument na kailangan sumagot ni VP Sara dahil siya
Usually
yung
sa Committee on Justice level
pagka na-receive na ng Committee on Justice yung complaint, walang nangyaring gano'n.
And we all
Tapos
know,
isang sinasabi pa nila dito nung side nila VP Sara, meron din daw yung grave abuse nga daw ng kanilang is hindi parang si Secretary General ng House, 'di ba? Nasa kanya na yung 3 impeachment complaints pero hindi daw niya kaagad itinransmit sa House of Representatives as sa Speaker of the House. Yung isa sa mga sinasabi nila at nag-antay pa ng pang-4. Kaya yun yung mga butas na nakikita daw nila.
Pero
and we will see kung
the Secretary General of the House naman, when he received the 3 complaints, sabi niya, I'm not going to transmit this yet because hindi pa kumpleto. I'll wait for the 4th complaint kasi may nagparamdam na mag-file ng 4th complaint.
yun nga sinasabi lang, mali daw yun. Dapat daw, the moment you received it, you send it, transmit it kaagad sa House of Representatives.
But,
House Speaker.
Ibalik natin ang question sa kanila. Yung nangyaring ginawa ng Secretary General sa House, hindi ba a matter of process yun? Within Congress?
Within Congress.
So hindi ba dapat ang resolution dyan or may reklamo kayo?
Kasi another branch of government yan.
You should have gone sa loob ng Congress and said, may mali kayo sa procedure, can I file an appeal within I don't know about the rules, but not sa Supreme Court because it's a matter of process. Diba?
Yung dun sa usapin, yung dun sa sinasabi nila na, ang tawag dito yung sa impeachment na dapat may 1-year ban kasi 3 na yung na-file.
Wala pa naman na...
May presidente, yung kay Ombudsman Conchita, sino yung Gutierrez, Teresita Gutierrez. Tama ba yung pangalan niya?
Merceditas.
Merceditas Gutierrez. May president na gano'n nangyari before. Na nagsabi ng Supreme Court, hindi pa naman yun na-transmit something to that effect.
Kailangan ma-deny ng Committee on Justice.
Okay.
Okay, let's move on to the next.
The Commission on Elections, or Comelec, has raised concerns over what it perceives as an attempt to red tag the institution. While Comelec did not name the agency involved, Chairman George Garcia admitted they were disheartened after receiving a letter from the said office. This stems from Comelec's recently issued anti-discrimination resolution, which aims to protect the rights of women and persons with disabilities, ensuring they are treated fairly, especially during the campaign period. It also explicitly prohibits labeling individuals or groups as threats to the government based on their beliefs. Garcia warned that any violation of this resolution would be considered an election offense, potentially leading to a candidate's disqualification.
Ba't kaya sila i-red?
Sino kaya
Bakit
itong
kaya
agency
sila-
na to?
But ang tanong dito is, sino ba ang agency lang na may right or may capacity to red tag? Yun ang pag-aralan natin.
NTF.
Meron pa bang NTF-ELCAC?
Oh, di ba? Meron pa naman.
O, kasi
Sila lang naman yung may capacity.
kasi PNP, di ba, at saka AFP may red tagging powers din yan. Pero all of this kasi dumadaan
Under NTF.
ELCAC. O, sino nag-red? Bakit may i-red tag ang Comelec?
Kaya nga, nagulat din ako eh.
Hindi ko yung logic because hindi ko maarok eh.
Di ba sinasabi nga ng Comelec, this is not to ano naman
Sila
eh.
ba ang
Parang hindi naman kami, hindi naman namin kinakampihan yung mga, yung nare-red tag.
Yun.
Ang sinasabi ng Comelec,
Protect
yung protecting, actually, kampi nga kami sa government. Of course, this is government agency din, ang Comelec, di ba? So, I don't know what's happening.
With regards kasi to elections ang issue, di ba?
Oo. Ito yung isa sa mga, actually nasabi na to ng Comelec noong November 2024 pa, na maglalabas nga sila ng mga ibang guidelines to support nga itong mga anti-discrimination natin during the campaign election, which is yun, kasama nga dyan yung PWD, women, di ba, mga catcalling, etc. And yung mga lalabag dito, kung sila ay mga kandidato, pwede silang ma-disqualify from the race. And of course, pwede rin sila makulang 1 year to 6 years, if I'm not mistaken, yung isa sa mga punishment doon. So, I don't know, kaya nga kung sino yung...
Tsaka sa trust ng Comelec, matagal na natin alam yung direction that they are going. Free, easy access for all voters, regardless of race, color, or gender. Tapos ano pa yung abledness mo, status mo, di ba? In fact nga, si Chairman George, ang goal nga niya eventually is hindi na sa classrooms or sa schools gagawin ng election, gawin na natin sa mga accessible places para everyone can vote.
Yes.
Ganon din.
Ito,
so ito yung direction nila.
An attempt to red tag the institution. Yun. Yung
So they're
Comelec.
attempting to red tag Comelec mismo. Yun ba yun?
Yeah.
Ay,
I
yung
think
gulo
so.
nyo. Madami pang... Yan ang hindi dapat ini-entertain kasi ang daming pwedeng pag-usapan tapos mga ganyan bagay.
Bakit kaya, no? Saan kaya nanggagaling? No? Saan yung hugot nun?
Anyway, makakausap natin.
Alamin
natin yan. Alright.
Coming up.
The Philippine Coast Guard condemns the reckless action of a Chinese helicopter over Bajo de Masinloc.
Pope Francis is now battling double pneumonia. Kumusta kaya ang kanyang kalagayan? We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. Good morning. You're still watching News and Views here on One News.
Now to discuss about the issue a while ago regarding Comelec, we have the spokesperson, Attorney Rex Laudianco. Spokes Attorney, thank you for joining us again on our program News and Views.
Good morning.
Magandang umaga
Can you
po
hear us
sa
okay?
Angela, Ma'am Angela. Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. Magandang umaga po sa lahat po ng ating taga-subaybay.
Okay, Attorney Rex, syempre I'd get right to the meat of it. I don't know if you saw our last report about yung statement ni Chairman George Garcia na na-dishearten siya sa letter na natanggap niya. Can you shed some light on this? Kasi medyo it's very vague kung anong letter or what red tagging is the chairman talking about.
It's perhaps because of Resolution 11-116 po, ano? Kung yung red tagging ng issue.
Yes.
Naglabas po kasi ng resolution ng Comelec, it was approved by the Commission and Bank yesterday, na kung saan po ay kinuturing ng Comelec na violation ng Comelec resolution at isang election offense, yung mga unjust labeling at ano po yung pagta-target po ng certain groups like PWD, HIV patients, yung ating mga cause-oriented and religious groups, na ang target po ay siraan, i-discriminate po sila parating sa halalan.
Okay.
Okay, and then until now po, hindi niyo po pwedeng i-disclose kung sino pong
nag-red tag?
agency na to na sumulat po sa inyo sa Comelec.
That is correct po, and I'm not privy to the letter po kasi, Sir Angelo, Ma'am Angela.
Okay, sige. Alamin ko na lang po, Attorney, ano, yung sa inyong resolution, yung anti-discrimination resolution. So, how does the Comelec plan to enforce this po, especially ito nga po regarding red tagging during the campaign period?
So ito po, dalawang anggulo po, no? Tatanggap po kami ng mga complaints and reports from our general citizenry at isa rin po ay imo-monitor namin. Dadagdag po ito sa imo-monitor namin sa social media. Ang maganda po kasi sa social media, lahat ng platforms na nag-engage po sa social media dito sa Pilipinas, yung community policies nila, meron na rin pong ganito, yung anti-discriminatory policies po nila.
Yeah.
So talagang nagtutugma lang po tayo sa general standards ng malayang pamamahayag sa mundo at paggalang po sa mga karapatang pantao.
Of course, Attorney Rex, no, tatanungin ng mga kababayan natin and our viewers, ano ba specifically ang what to watch out for? Kasi sinasabi ng Comelec, of course, we want to take in reports from the people, the citizenry, but then again, what will I look out for to make sure na in-enforce nyo na anti-discrimination, talagang may, faithfully ma-enforce nyo?
Generally, this involves all kinds of bullying po, ano, and discrimination for HIV patients, members of the LGBTQ, yung po sa ating sa religious groups na hinaharap sila, binubuli sila just because of their faith and belief. At kasama na rin po, siguro yung napag-usapan nyo kanina, bukod po sa PWD, yung mga tina-target po nililabel at mga dissenters, yung mga tinatawag po natin na maaring tinatag as belonging to terrorist groups, or iba pang mga grupo na maaring hindi po siguro sang-ayon sa mga general policy. Pero hindi naman necessarily advocating against the Constitution or siguro pagbagsak ng pamahalaan. Ibang usapan naman po yun. Pero
Yes.
kung malayang pamamahayag at advokasya, yan po ay talagang igagalang ng Comelec at humihingi po kami ng tulong sa ating mga kababayan na tulungan po kami na ma-enforce po ang resolution na ito.
But before we move on to Angela, I'd like to touch upon that, Attorney. No? So you said kasi those who are unjustly red tag na wala naman talagang bina-violate sa Constitution. So meaning, kasi when you take a look at that statement, only the government or certain agencies in the government can red tag people. So kung ako nakakita ng isang ahensya ng gobyerno nag-red tag sa isang grupo, how do I go about reporting this to the Comelec and ensured ba ang safety ko? Kasi medyo babanggain mo dito ang isang ahensya ng gobyerno, Attorney.
Alam niyo po, opo, simula pa nga po noong 2023 ay tumatanggap na po ng either anonymous na mga complaints or reports sa Comelec o kaya po kahit na na-identify namin, ngunit nagre-request po sila na huwag ma-disclose ang kanilang identity. At ganito naman po ang ginagawa namin. Comelec na po ang kumukuha ng mga circumstances. Kami na nag-iimbestiga, kami na nagkikase build up kung kailangan at kami na rin po nagsasampa ng kaso. Hindi po namin dinidisclose ang identities ng mga taong nagre-report sa amin.
Okay.
Yes, and kadugtong lang po dun sa tanong ni Diego, ano naman po yung proseso ng Comelec pagdating naman po dito nga po sa issues about red tagging and ano po yung magiging impact nito sa future elected related policies po ng Comelec?
Sige po, siguro po, wag po natin isentro lang sa red tagging. Kung bullying and all discriminations of any kind, it might affect yung
Yes.
ating elections. Doon po tayo magsentro.
Okay.
Ang epekto po nito kasi ang pinapatupad po natin ay yung kumbaga fair election. Ito po yung elections na inclusive, na hinahayaan po natin ang ating mga kababayan ng pagpasya, magdesisyon sa pamamagitan ng kanilang boto. Pwede namang mangampanya, pwede pong mag-influensya, pero wag naman po yung paninira na uabot sa bullying at discrimination. Yun lang naman po ang mensahe ng Comelec sa resolution na ito.
Attorney, ano yung magiging parusa sa mga napatunayan na nagbubuli? Kung civilian ang nagbubuli or kung taga-gobyerno ang nagbubuli?
Dalawa po, kung ito po'y kandidato at gagawin niya ito sa paglabag ng Resolution 11116, maaari pong magdulot ito ng kanyang disqualification. At sinasabi rin po dito sa ating resolution na pagkasama na yung violation ng mga rights, maaari namin itong ituring na election offense kung saan po punishable ito by criminal offense na may imprisonment po ng 1 hanggang 6 na taon, pagkakatanggal ng karapatang bumoto at perpetual disqualification to hold public office. Bukod pa po ito sa maaring maisampang mga iba't ibang uri ng kaso na nabasahan na tulad po nung sa Anti-Discrimination Act pagdating sa AIDS, yung po sa Magna Carta ng mga PWD at iba pa pong mga batas sa ating lipunan.
Spoke, siguro reiterate na lang natin on how will Comelec ensure that candidates and also the parties comply with this new anti-discrimination resolution po ng Comelec para po particularly sa mga women and persons with disabilities.
Simple lamang po, marami na pong batas na nagpapatunay at nagpapatibay ng mga karapatang pantao, pagbabawal sa discrimination, pagbabawal sa bullying, sa kapababaihan sa ating persons with disability, sa mga pasyente po ng HIV at iba pa. Sundin lang po natin ito at hindi po tayo mamamali dahil ito lang po ang trust ng ating Resolution 11116. Nagkataon lang po na halalan at nagkataon lang din po na sinusuportahan ng Comelec ang pagpapatupad ng mga batas na ito tungo sa fair elections po natin. Pangalawa po, sa monitoring po namin, nakakaasa kayo at pagdating man, kung sakali man may pananagunting kami, due process. Magkabilang panig po ay bibigyan namin ng pagkakataon, makapagpahayag, magbigay ng kanilang ebidensya at saka po magpapasa ang Comelec based on the pieces of evidence and the law that might be violated po.
Attorney, I'd also change the topic a little. I'd like to ask for an update. Kamusta na po ang preparations natin for these upcoming elections? Medyo malapit-lapit na to. Attorney, all systems go na ba? Walang aberya?
Hindi pa po namin masabing all systems go, but we're on our timeline, we're on schedule. Ang ating pong balota sa Diego Macangela ay nasa 38 million na po. Baka nga po, maya-maya lang, mag-39 million ballots na tayo. So we're more than half po ng ating target at inaasahan po natin kung magtutuloy-tuloy yung ganito, baka yung second week of April na deadline namin sa sarili namin ay maunahan pa namin by end of March. Sinisiguro rin po namin na dinadagdagan na namin ang facilities namin, lalo na sa verification at yung staging areas ng packing. At ito po i-disclose namin sa publiko lahat para po masamahan nyo kami sa pamamagitan ng live stream. Next week din po, simula na rin po ng pagtuturo ng ating mga seekers na susundan po ng certification ng ating DOST dahil lahat po ng maninindihan bilang election board ay kailangan makapasa ng test ng DOST.
Siguro, finally, spokes, yun na lang po sa update dun sa iba pa mga violations na reported po natin, aside po dun sa pinag-usapan natin the last time, yung vote buying na incident po na iniimbestigahan po dyan sa Baguio. Any more violations na mga na-report po sa inyong opisina?
Opo, nananatili pong ganun pa rin pagdating sa vote buying. Ngunit tumaas po pagdating po sa violation ng gun ban. Halos 1,100 na po ang mga taong nakakasuhan natin sa violation ng gun ban. But ito po'y dulot na rin ang ating intensified na checkpoint. Pagdating naman po dun sa ating mga monitoring na operation baklas, araw-araw po at tuloy-tuloy po, hinihintay po namin yung pagsagot ng mga senatorial candidates na napadala ng notices at i-disclose naman po namin ito after ng investigation, yung resulta po.
Alright, on that note, maraming salamat po muli sa inyong oras. That was spokesperson Attorney Rex Laudianco ng Comelec.
Alright, in other news, the Philippines is set to file yet another diplomatic protest against China. This is after a Chinese Navy helicopter tailed and flew too close to a BFAR aircraft that was doing routine monitoring at Bajo de Masinloc yesterday. Philippine Coast Guard spokesperson for the West Philippine Sea, Jay Tarriela, said The diplomatic protest is an important move for the country.
This kind of diplomatic protest is very important because if we're not going to do that, it would appear like we are just allowing them to keep on violating the international law or to keep on violating and disrespecting our sovereignty and sovereign rights.
China defended its actions, saying the BFAR aircraft had illegally intruded into their airspace and severely violated their sovereignty. Beijing also accused the Philippines of spreading false narratives, to which Tariela took offense.
What we did is legitimate and routine maritime domain awareness flight. It is not illegal, and if you're going to ask me who is the one carrying out such aggressive and illegal actions, that will only be the People's Republic of China.
In other news, the National Food Authority has begun releasing buffer stocks of rice to local governments nationwide under the Food Security Emergency Program. Over the next 6 months, the NFA plans to distribute around 150,000 metric tons of rice with an initial selling price of 33 pesos per kilo. The suggested retail price for consumers is 35 pesos per kilo. LGUs like San Juan and Camarines Sur have committed to selling NFA rice at 33 pesos per kilo to ensure affordability.
What we're doing is giving our people the access sa murang bigas. So wala naman hong anumang pamumulitikan. We will try to finish as fast as we can na hindi na siya umabot po sa election period.
Actually, before we move on, merong provision na 2 pesos per kilo para daw sa transportation.
Yeah,
Pero in San Juan particularly, sinabi ni Mayor Zamora na iso-shoulder na yun ng LGU nila. Yung para pagdating sa kababayan nila, yung mga residente doon, 33 pesos pa rin yung makukuha nila.
Yun ang matagal lang pinag-uusapan. Actually, sa panahon pa ni PRRD, he was talking about that, yung trying to eliminate or bawasan ng cost sa transport sa gitna.
Kasi kaya tumataas
sa middle, the middle cost na tinatawag, kasi doon tumataas. So, pagandang initiative to. But ang tanong dito is yung sustainability of which. But sana other local government units can also find different approaches that can eliminate yung middleman cost. Diba?
And there are also isolated cases nung may binibenta daw na NFA rice na hindi maganda yung
I heard
kalidad.
yung
Yung mga bukbok daw.
overmilled na, wala ng shell, tapos may bukbok na and broken na. Majority broken.
Alright, in other news, PhilHealth has tripled dengue coverage as cases surge across the country. Patients hospitalized for severe dengue can now claim up to 47,000 pesos. That's nearly triple the previous rate of 16,000 pesos. For mild dengue cases, PhilHealth now covers up to 19,500 pesos, almost double the previous 10,000 peso limit. This comes as 8 more local government units, aside from Quezon City, are expected to declare a dengue outbreak.
Let's talk more about PhilHealth's dengue benefit package.
We have PhilHealth spokesperson Dr. Israel, or Doc Ish Pargas, is now on the line. Thanks for joining us again, Doc Ish.
Hello, good morning. Good
Hi.
morning, Angela and Angelo.
Good morning.
Good morning and good morning to all.
Okay, syempre yung tanong po natin dito, Doc Ish, ilan na po ba yung mga nag-avail ng PhilHealth dengue package so far?
Well, ang meron akong data, Angela, is for the whole of 2024, around 300 plus thousand, and we were able to pay more than 3.5 billion pesos already for dengue for all cases.
Okay, Doc, linawin ko, kasi madaming, I think there are 5 varieties or 5 versions of the dengue yung sickness, no? Meaning each time, let's say in 1 year, ako si pasyente, 5 times ako nagka-dengue, each time po, I can avail of the package?
Yes. Ngayon, wala na kasi tayo nung tinanggal na natin yung ating previous policy ng single period of confinement. So ngayon, kung mako-confine ka for the same illness, meron kang bagong benepisyo.
Okay, that's good to hear.
Okay, that's good to hear. Kasi nga sinasabi ng mga experts, dapat daw hanggang 4 na beses pwede mag-avail. Pero each confinement.
Basta each confinement, malinaw. Okay.
Okay. Pero paano po yung requirements po pala at saka proseso ng mga pwedeng makapag-avail nito? At yung tinatanong din po kasi nung iba kung po pwede daw po ba sa private hospitals?
Yes. Actually, because of the universal healthcare law, meron tayong immediate eligibility for all the benefits. Kung kaya't ang talagang kailangan lang ng ating mga members, na lahat ng Pilipino naman ay member na, dapat po kayo ay registered na sa PhilHealth. Because kung kayo ay registered na, makikita na po yung inyong pangalan sa database natin and wala nang kailangang ibigay pa na any requirement. Makakakuha na ng kanilang benepisyo kaagad-agad. So very important na lahat po tayo ay registered.
Yeah,
Now,
Doc,
the
is-
benefits of dengue can be availed in all our accredited public
okay.
and private facilities.
Doc, for clarity lang para sa kababayan natin, kasi not everyone are familiar with how the system of yung universal healthcare goes, no? For example, registered nga ang isang pasyente pero hindi naman siya nakakapaghulog talaga. Magkano ang pwede niyang in-avail, for example, sa dengue package?
Pareho pa rin po.
Pareho.
Magiging, kung ito ay dengue mild, it's 19,500. Kung dengue severe, it's 47,000. Ngayon, kung halimbawa, hindi kayo nakakapagbayad, pero dapat kayo ay may bayad or nagpo-contribute, makaka-avail pa rin po. At yun naman pong inyong mga missed contributions and premium contributions, ibang usapin naman po yon at doon po naman kayo i-refer natin sa ating collection department. But you still can avail of the benefits.
Okay, that's good to hear.
Okay. So, taking this opportunity na rin po, Doc, is to ask you if there are other PhilHealth packages na tinaasan po ang benefits currently.
Yes, actually, because of our increase, yung ating 30% and 50% across the board, so lahat ng case rates natin, in-increase na natin. And meron din tayong mga additional na na-rationalize na pakete. So lahat ng cases po natin na-increase na. And just to announce din lang, hindi lang po yung benefits natin ngayon, it's for confinement. Effective Feb 14, meron na po tayo na tinatawag na emergency care benefit package. Yung mga pasyente na nadadala sa emergency room pero hindi kailangang ma-confine pero nakita sa emergency room at binigyan ng mga karampatang treatment, ay meron na rin pong benefit na makukuha sa PhilHealth. So yung mga pasyente halimbawa na meron pong dengue or tinitingnan na baka may dengue at nadala sa ER pero hindi naman admit, meron din po silang benepisyo.
Okay. Can you update us po, Doc Ish, doon sa mga backlog na payment po ng PhilHealth sa mga iba't ibang hospitals po?
Well, yes. Angela, patuloy naman po ang ating ginagawang reconciliation with the private hospitals and even government hospitals para nga po yung ating mga sinasabi na backlog claims ay mabayadan na natin. Actually, ngayon pong umagang ito, katatapos lang ng meeting natin with the big private hospital consortium because pinag-uusapan nga po natin kung papaano mas mapapadali at mas mapapabilis ang pagbabayad natin at kung paano rin po mababawasan yung mga ibinabalik naming claim or yung mga nadi-deny naming claim.
Pero po, specific po, meron na po ba kayong parang percentage kung magkano na po yung mga nababayaran sa kanila?
Well, basically, dati ang sinisingil nila sa atin, meron tayong mga pagkakautang na around 10 to 20 billion. Pero dun po sa huling interview sa kanila, parang mga around 6 billion na lang ang kanilang kiniklaim sa amin. So, effectively,
Ito pong 6 billion na po ito, comprise
naman
po ito
natin
ng
sila.
iba't ibang hospital?
Yes.
Okay. Alright, sige. Maraming salamat po sa inyong oras. That was PhilHealth spokesperson Dr. Israel Pargas. Thank you.
At least medyo malinaw na. Okay. Don't go away. We're not done yet. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're still watching News and Views here on One News.
The Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board has begun hearing petitions for jeepney fare hike. Operators are seeking a 2 pesos increase, raising the minimum fare from 13 pesos to 15 pesos. Some transport groups, however, withdrew their petition, opting to keep the current rate. Meanwhile, TNVS drivers have also filed a petition to raise the base fare from 45 pesos to 70 pesos. LTFRB Chair Teofilo Guadis III questioned the need for fare hikes, pointing to the 10,000 pesos fuel subsidy provided to drivers. Despite this, the agency has committed to reviewing the petitions.
Ang pinagtataka ho namin, meron na nga silang subsidy na 10,000, bakit pa ho sila kailangan mag-file ng petition?
Oo, kasi ang hirap din naman for the, yung sinasabi ng mga drivers, diba? And currently nga daw, since nagtataas yung mga presyo, 130 pesos a day yung nababawa sa mga drivers.
Actually,
pero hindi ko lang maintindihan bakit yung iba nag-withdraw ng support nila, yung petition to at least from 13 pesos to 15 pesos yung itaas.
Actually, very difficult tong issue na to eh. It's a delicate balancing act eh, di ba? Hindi, nabanggit we spoke with Calio de Guzman the other day, and nabanggit niya is hindi equal, kasi hindi deregulated eh.
Yes.
So hindi equal ang pagtaas ng presyo sa pagtaas ng sweldo. Buti sana kung may ganun mga movements, then we would not be talking about this. But then again, kailangan na kumita syempre yung mga jeepney natin. Problema, paano naman yung commuters?
You have to find the balance kasi na matutulungan mo yung drivers as well as yung commuters. If you help the drivers, yung commuters naman will suffer and vice versa.
Actually, before we move on, may mga certain commuters, commuter drivers groups na nagsasabi din, not all of them are in favor of yung mga fare hike. Some of them are saying, kasi pag napapansin nila, pag tumataas ang pasahe, nawawalan na sila ng pasahero, lumilipat daw sila sa ibang mode of transportation.
Well, tingnan natin.
Alright, in other news, Winston Casio has been reinstated as spokesman of the Presidential Anti-Organized Crime Commission, or PAOCC. Casio told reporters on Wednesday that everything is back to normal. Recall that Casio was relieved as PAOCC spokesperson due to his reported mistreatment of a Filipino national following a raid in Bataan. Casio had apologized for slapping one of the workers, saying it was wrong to do so. He admitted that he was placed under medication due to anger issues. Actually nag-ano siya.
Diba when he gets here first, sabi ko, balik na pala siya. I wanted to ask him eh. Kaso,
tsaka not only medication, may ano din siya, anger management.
Therapy.
Yeah, yun ang lumabas sa report. Maintindihan mo naman, there's no room for violence anywhere.
Lalo na public officials.
But you have to understand also the nature of the work of PAOCC is medyong mabigat. And then, araw-araw may nakikita kang mga ganyan mga issue.
We don't justify naman.
I'm not saying
I'm
just saying in nature kasi ng work niya. So siguro nag-pile up ang stress, nag-pile up ang anger.
And I think based on the report before, parang ang tawag doon na parang inaasad na provoke siya, parang gano'n. And again, we don't justify yung violence.
No. Klaro naman yun. There's no room for violence. Pero also, you have to look at the other side. Ano yung trigger? Diba? What prompted the trigger? Diba? So, we have to look into that. Pero yun, it's nice to see.
Lagi nakakausap natin regarding Pogo.
Spokes back, diba? Kasi he was the voice of yung mga Pogo raid and PAOCC.
Yes, remember Alice Go.
Nakasanayan natin.
Bamban Tarlac.
Oo. And a lot of people have said that very effective in the way he communicates.
Yes.
So,
ngayon,
sana tuloy-tuloy na.
Yes, tuloy-tuloy. And we'll be hearing from him soon. Probably kasi ang dami pa rin mga cases ng Pogo dito. And one of which pa is yung mga nire-recruit ng mga Filipino naman dito. Tapos dinadala sa ibang bansa, Cambodia, para dun mag-work
call center
as a foreign Pogo worker.
Tapos parang calls in nature. Yes. Tapos board and lodging daw kasama.
And recently naman, dito din sa atin, parang isa sa mga 5-star hotel daw sa may Pasay. I don't know which one, parang nagkaroon din sila ng raid doon na ongoing Pogo operations sa basement.
Okay.
So,
I heard of that.
they're investigating the incident kasi kung halimbawa, baka, syempre tititignan nila involvement ng hotel, di ba?
Oo.
Syempre, kung hindi naman involved, okay. Pag involved, edi syempre, baka mapasa
Baka
lang.
nag-rent lang sila ng ballroom sa basement.
Oo.
Tapos nagdala ng pocket wifi. Tapos
Oh, that's what they do now eh.
That's what they
Pocket
do.
wifi para hindi
And
matrace.
one laptop, one pocket wifi daw. Tapos pag may
Exactly.
magre-raid, takbuhan sila. Or tourist lang ako, internet lang. Di ba? Ganun ang...
And thousands of foreign POGO workers pa rin are still here awaiting to be deported.
Correct. Correct.
Now, in other news, Cesar Chavez announced that he is stepping down as the acting secretary of the Presidential Communications Office. Chavez said that he submitted his irrevocable resignation on February 5. He hopes to step down at the end of the month or earlier. Chavez expressed continued support for the administration, calling his role an honor of a lifetime. He admitted regret over falling short of expectations but did not disclose specific reasons for his resignation. Malacanang, meanwhile, has appointed former journalist Jay Ruiz as the Presidential Communications Office Chief. Yan eh, medyo matagal-tagal yung yung medyo chika na yan. Sabi nila ng una, magli-leave muna siya, pero yun eventually nga nag-resign na siya.
Kilala
Kasi may
natin
mga
yun si
chismis na na parang the President is not happy dun sa mga communication efforts niya.
Actually, kasi from the start, the President also made it known na he will not be utilizing masyado yung kanyang spokesperson, yung presidential spokesperson, because siya mismo ang, sabi niya, remember, siya mismo ang gusto humarap sa press.
Yes.
And in line with, and we all know that he also has his own vlog channel sa YouTube kung saan siya gumagawa ng mga updates.
Okay, so this is going, Jay Ruiz, yung former
we all know Jay
ABS-CBN reporter,
Of course,
he's going to be the fourth, or he is the fourth head of PCO under
Sino yung una?
PBBM
Was it
Marcos.
Trixie?
Of course, first press secretary is Trixie Cruz Angeles.
Trixie Cruz Angeles.
She served from June 30, 2022 to October 4, 2022. Yan yung may fallout na sila, nag-uumpisa na. And she was succeeded by abogado Chele Garafil, who held the post until September 5, 2024. And then si Chavez na, and then this one na si Jay Ruiz. Si Jay Ruiz is also from Ilocos. Tapos, naging ABS-CBN reporter siya until 2016. Pero parang nagtrabaho din siya sa Senate before this. Tapos nag-private practice or ganon. And then this one na. Okay?
Okay.
Alright. In other news, Pope Francis is battling double pneumonia, complicating his recovery from a respiratory infection, according to the Vatican. He was admitted to Rome's Gemelli Hospital on February 14 after experiencing breathing difficulties. A chest scan confirmed bilateral pneumonia requiring continued treatment. The Vatican said he would remain in the hospital as needed and expressed gratitude for the prayers and support worldwide. Get well
Daming
soon.
worried because
double pneumonia.
we all know the Pope, aside from itong double pneumonia, he's battling several illness pa ulit-ulit. Diba, meron siyang sakit sa tuhod, meron siyang another sickness last year, so and he's aging already. When he first started as Pope, medyo matikas pa siya, medyo he can stand up straight, maganda yung katawan niya. Pero kikita mo ngayon, nagka-curve na yung ano niya. The way he walks, he can hardly walk unassisted.
And they
so
have
a lot of us are
canceled
worried.
several engagements niya because of his health.
A lot of us are very worried. Siyempre, we all know naman na he's aging already and we've grown to love him. So, prayers go out to the Pope, of course. But we'll keep everyone updated regarding his condition kasi hindi po biro ang double pneumonia. For a healthy individual like me, you, and everyone else, ang pneumonia, ang basic pneumonia, ang hirap.
Yes.
Oo, pagdadaanan mo yan. Pero somebody his age, double pneumonia, that's very difficult.
Totoo. And we all know naman, yung nga sabi mo, he's loved by many. And of course, yung mga policies niya, diba, na talagang lumalapit sa mga tao. Yan ang mga nami-miss nila. And yun nga, as I've said earlier, there are several engagements already na nakakancel because of his health. Diba, dapat pupunta pa siya sa somewhere out of the country.
Yes,
Tapos
correct.
may
May tour siya. Supposed, and it's the celebration eh. Anong tawag doon? Basta a celebration na every year na bihira i-cancel. So, kinailangan i-cancel to for the first time in the longest time na na-cancel. So, yan, prayers for the Pope.
Get well soon.
Get well soon. Thank you pala sa lahat ng viewers natin sa mga comments. Until now, you're stuck with us since brunch.
Yes.
Papunta dito. Nakakatuwa po kayong lahat. Thank you very much. Keep them coming and keep on supporting us. And of course, before we let you go, may sasabihin ka ba?
Wala na.
Wala ka nang sasabihin. Alright, before we let everyone go, I'd like to leave you with a quote that hopefully will make your day better. Don't be afraid to give up the good to go for the great. A quote from John D. Rockefeller. And that wraps up today's episode of News and Views.
Join us again tomorrow. I'm Angela Lagonzal Castro.
Ako yung naging great mo, di ba?
Oo.
And I'm Angelo Castro III. We are One News.
All sides, all the time.